New tripod, new desk, fuck yeah. What's going on, y'all? TheBrandonBrownson here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Daredevil. Not the shitty 2004 movie, but the Netflix series. Now, I noticed that with my reviews, I tend to get a little rambly, and I apologize if that happens here. I'm gonna try not to. Also, I'm gonna try and be relatively spoiler-free, but at the same token, potential spoiler warning. Probably spoiler warning. So yeah, Daredevil. It took me like a week and a half to watch, but the short and sweet of it, it was fucking awesome. It was everything I wanted it to be. I haven't seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and I haven't seen Agent Carter yet, so I can't really compare it to those two. Truth be told, I haven't seen Arrow and Flash either, so I can't really compare it to those, but maybe that's a good thing, because I'm able to look at this as a standalone, and as its own thing, I think it did everything really well. But I'm pretty sure that's not going to be good enough, so let's go into a little more detail. First of all, the story that it told was really, really good. They didn't go into too many different things and all focused around the same central plot without having any filler episodes, which I really like with a lot of shows. There's a lot of filler even in season 1, but with this, the entire thing centered around the battle against Wilson Fisk. Anytime it started to stray off, whatever direction it was going, still connected back to the central plot of Wilson Fisk. I love the news reporter stuff. I like the little bit of crime drama stuff that we got with Nelson and Murdoch. I really like all the criminal gang interactions. I loved watching Fisk. Wilson Fisk was hands down my favorite character in the series. But I'll get to that in a little bit. I liked all of the sub-stories. I like how instead of being their own thing that didn't really fit like you see in a lot of the series, it all tied back together. It all had to do with this central thing. Now let's go into the characters themselves. The character of Daredevil, I felt was really good. Matt Murdock, I think his name, yeah, Matt Murdock. Wow. Kind of embarrassed I wasn't able to remember that right off the top of my head. But yeah, Matt Murdock, I don't really know any of the actors' names, and I apologize for that, but the guy who they got to play Daredevil himself was incredible. He nailed the goofy, aloof attitude of Matt Murdock, but also did a really good job with the serious parts. He played a perfect Daredevil. Foggy Nelson, who for a really long time was my favorite character in the series, also fucking nailed it. He was able to do the goofy bits perfectly, but when it came time to really tug at your heartstrings, he did an incredible job. Karen Page, Vanessa Mariana, and Claire Temple were all really solid characters. Yeah, I kind of had to look at the page to remember all of their names. The thing I liked the most was that they were female characters, yes, but they felt like characters. They weren't there just to be women, like you unfortunately see in a lot of different series. They each had their own characteristic. They each had stuff that made them interesting. Karen, most of all, obviously being one of the three main hero characters, but also being the focus of the investigative journalism bits, the trying to bring down Wilson Fisk through the media bits. At the end of the day, Vanessa and Claire were both kind of love interesty things, which kind of sucked, but even then I felt like they were written well enough to not totally fall into the trope of only being there so the villain or the hero could have a love interest. I thought that all three of those were really good. Ben Urich, I loved his story arc. A certain event happened which absolutely broke my fucking heart with him. But he was really good. Wilson Fisk, again, was absolutely perfectly casted. The guy who they got to play him was also Private Pile in Full Metal Jacket, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm kind of embarrassed that I didn't recognize them on my own, but I digress. A lot of portrayals of Wilson Fisk only focus on the fact that he's this mammoth of a man and a heinous businessman slash crime leader. This adaptation of him focused a lot on his backstory, though. It focused a lot on who he is as a person besides a crime lord, and those are the portrayals of Wilson Fisk I like the most. It made him feel like a human, which admittedly is something that a lot of Marvel media fails at doing. Usually the big bads are just that, big bads. They don't feel like fully fleshed out characters in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Wilson Fisk was a breath of fresh air on that front. He's comparable to Loki as far as character development goes, which should go to say a lot. Also, on the topic of Wilson Fisk, I thought that Leland was one of the more entertaining characters. I don't know if Leland appears in the comics. I feel like kind of a dingus for that. He was one of the better characters, and in large part, he is what made Wilson Fisk, a huge part of what made Wilson Fisk feel so human. Sure, the slimy henchman when you boil it right down to it, but at the same token, you can see that Wilson Fisk and Leland had a close connection. They weren't just business partners, they were friends. The fact that seeing a villain developed that much, it was incredible. It's one of the things I liked the most about the series. Admittedly, it wasn't everything I wanted. There were a few things that I wish could have been thrown in. Chief amongst those things being that I wish that there would have been one or two other recognizable villains. In one of the episodes, they kind of teased the Hand, which if you know anything about Daredevil, you know how much of a big deal the Hand is. If you don't know a lot about Daredevil, the Hand is the ninja organization that Elektra is a part of. They tease that in one episode, and they do have Stick in an episode. I don't really think he counts as a villain, but that was one of the better episodes. I really enjoyed that one, but I wish that they would have had a couple, like, maybe one or two more villains. I didn't want to see too many more. I didn't want it to be, like, every episode is Daredevil going up against a different bad guy. That would have been really formulaic. That would have been the exact opposite of what I was looking for, but still, one more major villain would have been really nice. It would have really made me pop. Another thing, and I kind of understand why they didn't do this, but I also wish that they would have referenced the other Defenders, or hinted toward the other Defenders more. Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist. I'm pretty sure that as those series roll out, there's going to be a lot more cross-referencing and building up toward the Defenders. Considering how this was kind of the start of that, I can understand why they didn't go that route. It would have been really weird if Captain America was referenced in the very first Iron Man movie, but I thought it would have been kind of cool to have like a little something, like a 30-second something to help set that up. To kind of wrap this up, because I don't want to make this super long and rambly, fantastic series, but a word of advice: if you're gonna watch the series, make sure that toward the end, you set aside 3 hours, because the last 3 episodes should be watched in succession, one after the other after the other. I tried watching them apart until finally I decided I need to watch all 3 of these at the same time. And it's a lot more enjoyable when you watch the last 3 episodes in one giant marathon. Could not be any happier with the series. Even with my complaints, I thought that everything about this was as close to perfect as you can get. And if Jessica Jones is going to be as good as this, then I welcome it with arms wide open. I'm really looking forward to the second season of Daredevil, which they have announced that they're going to do. Hopefully we're going to get to see a few more familiar faces as far as villains go, but I digress. All in all, I would have to give this... I'm going to say 9 out of 10 stars. I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. It wasn't absolutely perfect, but it's as close to perfect as I expect really much of anything to get. But anyways, that's my opinions on Daredevil. In the comments section, let me know what you thought. Did you like Daredevil the series? Did you dislike Daredevil the series? Do you agree with my points? Do you disagree? Let's go ahead and talk about it down there. That about does it for this video. Down there in the comments section, check out all the things. Go like the Chameleon Couch Productions Facebook fan group. If you want to help monetarily support the channel, you can pick up a t-shirt, visit my donations page, or you can choose to pay for my album. If you want to get my album for free, that's fine. I offer it for free. But if you want to help support the channel, go ahead and throw me a couple bucks. I'd really appreciate that. Check out all the other sexy channels down there. Check out Imperial Wrestling Entertainment, Michigan Wrestling Organization. Follow me on all the social media sites. But hey, most importantly, remember to like, comment, subscribe. TheBrandon Brownson, signing out.